Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming by the podcast booth today. We're recording episodes for Lenovo Work Reborn Live. You may or may not know, but you most likely know since you work with Lenovo, that we recently released part 2 of our research series for Lenovo Work Reborn. Would you like to introduce yourself, give your name, what you do, and we can get into that report in a little bit?
Sure, absolutely. Very exciting. And thank you for having me in this wonderful podcast.
Yes.
My name is Alberto Sandoval, and I run the SSG offering marketing team worldwide. So that includes all the services going from our most basic warranties all the way to our digital workplace solutions and consulting engagements.
I'm so glad that you're here. You're just the right person to talk to get some insights and some feedback on the report. Why don't we get started if you're ready?
That'll be fantastic. Ready for you.
All right. So here's a fun fact from the report.
Uh-huh.
The Lenovo Work Reborn report found that 89% of senior IT leaders see digital workplace transformation as key to enabling Gen AI. What's one way you think Gen AI can most immediately benefit the workforce?
That's a great question. And I think that digital transformation is a big aspiration. Everybody wants to get there.
Yes.
And of course, it's a journey about how do you actually go to that digital transformation and achieve those outcomes that you're trying to do. So I would say, how do you integrate a Gen AI strategy into it is by really focusing on a problem that can be solved, right? But at the same time, it's a problem that has a big impact. But at the same time, you can actually get it implemented in a short term, right? It's super important, again, to tackle problems that are going to drive that digital transformation forward, taking into account, I'll say 3 things. The first one is that they take the employee into account. The person that is actually going to be using that tool has to be at the center of that idea.
That's bare minimum, right?
Absolutely, right? To keep them in mind, because we sometimes try to tackle challenges and we do not think about the people that are actually going to be using the technology.
Yes.
The second is that you tackle a problem that it's tied to a business outcome. It's really important to make the connection between the initiative and the business outcome, because at the end of the day, we're trying to reduce cost, increase productivity, automate the process, right? So we want to make sure that we tackle those into that. And the third thing, I did mention that you can actually introduce AI into it, right? That it can be actually solved by using kind of one of those technologies, right? You don't want to replicate a process and not achieve those outcomes. At the end of the day, you want to do things differently. You want to insert Gen AI into that concept. And I think as we continue going in this digital transformation at the workplace, solving those challenges will build on its own success, right? So solving that problem will bring on more success and more funding for those initiatives around the workplace.
I like that you mentioned that tip about starting with solving a problem that you can solve, because I think there are many problems that a business can be approached with or have to deal with. And when you see all of these things at once, it can be hard to start making those steps forward, right? So it's almost like find the quick win first and then keep going instead of trying to solve all of them at once, right?
Absolutely. I think prioritization is key, right? And prioritization with those metrics that we mentioned in place is super important.
Yeah. So another important kind of statement that we found from the Lenovo Work Reborn report was regarding the concept of, skills, management, teams, stuff like that, right? So actually, Sujit Maharti from Lenovo mentions that technology integration is a major hurdle. So how have you seen companies successfully modernize legacy systems without causing major disruption and employees to just go, whoa, what are you doing? You know what I mean? What does that look like, successfully modernizing legacy systems? What does that even really mean?
That's an interesting kind of finding of the report for sure. I think that what's really important in modernizing legacy systems is that they're there for a reason, right? They're solving a problem that cannot be solved otherwise, right? Or they're tackling an issue, a process, a business, I don't know, a business challenge at the same time that cannot be solved with newer technology or we have not been able to solve it with that. So going back a little bit to the earlier point, I think that the digital transformation of those legacy systems, the best way that I've seen them kind of tackle is by working very closely, not only with the business, but also with the users of that system. That is where a lot of the knowledge relies on the process, not on the tool or what the problem that they're trying to solve. So I think it's a combination of working with the business, but really taking the extra step and going to the end user, the person or persons that are actually running in that legacy system, because there is going to be a lot of surprises. And usually legacy systems are not
Not usually
always,
good surprises, too.
and you're right, right? A lot of surprises will be uncovered on that. So tackling it from that lens and really putting kind of those glasses on and trying to see from their vantage point what the problem is will actually enable them to be able to tackle that problem and divide it into little chunks and
Yes.
take one step at a time, right? That's the other way as well, right? Tackling the problem of legacy by dividing it into those different steps and introducing and leapfrogging the technology, not going from, hey, just incremental benefits, but really a transformation of that system.
Fantastic. So I like that statement, leapfrogging, right? It's not like, baby steps, right? Because I don't know, do we even have time and how fast the industry and the world of business is moving to take baby steps anymore? Like, I don't think so.
No, absolutely. Speed is of the essence, and getting to that time to value is super important.
Yeah.
It's super important and very relevant. If not, we won't have time to a
Right.
point to keep iterating on something that we know it needs to be fixed. Let's make the hard decisions and move forward with that.
So, in our report, we found that digital transformation needs more than a technology roadmap. We've heard a lot about roadmap at this event here. It actually requires linking to those unique strategic roles. So, in order to leapfrog, you got to know where to put the frog, I guess. I don't know. How important is it for companies to connect transformation efforts to their distinct business identity?
Oh wow, that's a very deep question
Right.
as well.
It's almost existential. We're talking about business identity, all of
Yes.
that stuff. But yeah, like how important is it for them for organizations to really connect what they're doing to themselves? It's personalization at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I'll share a little bit of a personal example that we've done at Lenovo because I think
Yeah.
it's important. We recently introduced what we call Lenovo Studio AI, and it's a system that allows our marketing teams to develop and build content and materials using generative and AI. So I think that in the case of really introducing a system that has allowed us to reduce time to market, reduce cost, increase productivity by integrating those newer technologies, the real reason behind it, it goes to our corporate identity, relating it back to that about innovation. We're a very innovative company. And at the same time, we within the marketing organization are also very innovative. We want to make sure that we keep up with not only the technology, but also with the market trends and how they're consuming. Our customers are consuming content and materials from Lenovo.
Right.
So it really centered in tackling a problem that allows us to really relate to our business mission and our business identity and how do we move that. So again, relating back to the earlier comment about choosing problems that are close to the business, that's exactly it, right? We want our teams to be more productive, but at the same time, more innovative,
Yes.
because that's part of who we are, DNA that makes us kind of really move that forward. And again, that increases not only the throughput of the tool, but also the customer satisfaction, right? My teams,
Yes.
our teams are a lot more excited using those kind of tools because they make it more productive and they really increases their experience with how they interact with the technology that we provide to our teams.
And at the end of the day, isn't technology supposed to excite us and create these innovations and move us forward? Like, I feel like that's the essence and the beauty of the human side of what we're doing with these innovations is we're trying to create that for not just for the customers but for the employees as well too.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that you mentioned something that I'm very passionate about. It is not about technology for technology's sakes. It's what you can actually do with that technology,
Right.
right? And in the case that I was mentioning, right, we're creating new materials, new assets, new content that didn't exist before. That's exciting. That's
Yeah.
different. That is what we are. And we're putting that in the hands of our sellers in real time. It is incredible.
It's incredible. So this is just a general question
Uh-huh.
overall. What is your favorite part about what you do at Lenovo? Is it what you get to how you get to impact the team? Is it the product? Is it the innovation? Like what gets you excited to do this every day?
Wow, so many things. But you did mention something that I think it's at the center of what we're talking about here, which is the team member, the person. I really get excited when my teams are engaged, when the teams that are building, engaging with customers are really get excited about introducing new products,
Yes.
talking to them. So I think when I think about a digital transformation and when I think about the experience that we need to deliver to our teams, has to be about them, has to be about how do we actually not only get them the tools and then leave them on their own, right? We need to be there. We want to empower them
Yes.
to work closer with IT, closer with our leadership in the things that matter to them. And I think providing the right tools, providing the right elements, and the right situations to empower them to use them. And this is it's always a two-way street, right? There's
Right.
not only we give and say, hey, we gave you all the tools, right? What about adoption? What about enablement? How do we actually kind of work a lot closer? And the more I think about it at an individual level, right? We cannot just generalize anymore. People are expecting, I want the solutions for David, right? And
Yeah.
David, my hypothetical example
Yes.
is he needs a certain type of experience that might be different from Dana,
Yeah.
right? The intention is how do we provide that personalized experience? And when we put the employee at the center, the team member, that is when
The
the
magic
things start
happens.
to, and the magic happens, right? When we can actually move forward and they can feel a lot more engaged, more productive, and not only to their mission and the purpose within, but also with the company,
Right.
right? And the commitment that we provide as a company.
What makes Lenovo different? There are other services, offerings that state they can come in, fix your problems, give you a sticker, have a nice day. What makes what we do so unique and different and how we offer and handle these solutions for someone who maybe decides they need help. They don't want to do it alone.
I think what's unique about Lenovo is there are a couple of things. First, I think that Lenovo is very easy to work with and very open to an ecosystem. We understand that the ecosystem of what makes a digital experience kind of work is very vast.
Yes.
So at Lenovo, we kind of lean into that and understand that we need to be very inclusive and at the same time agnostic to the solutions that we bring to our customers because again we're trying to solve very complex problems that not a single vendor out there can solve everything,
Right.
So I think the power of our ecosystem and our flexibility of working with us in that, it's a big differentiation. The other element, I think that by far, I think that we produce the best devices in the world. I really do. I think that by integrating the device with the services experience that we have in not only deploying, configuring, implementing, and managing the life cycle of those is by far a big differentiation in the marketplace. And I think that those two things combined make Lenovo a great choice.
Well, that wraps it up for this segment of Lenovo Work Reborn Live in London. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I really appreciated it.
Thank you. My pleasure.